Hello? Okay, maybe people can hear me now. Yes. Kinda. It has been a while, Grim. Hello. Thank you for the 13 months.
Been a while. What's up?
I need to move this, like, here, probably. Oh, it's so cold in here. You guys are gonna get the creepy basement special today. I gotta open up my Twitch chat on my phone because I don't have my second monitor up. It's a little scuffed today. Little scuffed. But it is what it is. Stream manager. Do not play in background. Okay. Yeah, yummy basement indeed. This is gonna be very scuffed. But we're gonna do it. And if stuff is like breaking, please let me know. I think Virgil is on a call. I might need to move the streams an hour later so I can be loud without worrying about disturbing like his work calls. So we'll see. Let me make sure that this is. Oh, sorry. We got Marcella. Let's go. I gotta add the others in there. People have been drawing them. Okay, give me a second. I need to. Hello, here's creepy basement. Ignore the punching bag. Ignore. Raju and Cypher there. Give me a second. I just need to make sure this is like the right size. Okay, is it capturing? It's like kind of capturing. It's because it's like it's gonna be broken for a little bit. You know what we're gonna do? This. And capture my whole window. It's gonna be like this. And that is okay. It's gonna be a little scuffed. But this way this way we can see everything. Okay. What was the last? It was the 21st. So everything after the 21st, which shouldn't be too much. Yeah, this was all put in before, so we're good, we're good. Cool. I have no mouth and I must crane game. Oh, let me bring you back to this then so you can crane game. Oh my god. You got three in the row? 3 at the same time? Also, you captured Marcelo 3 times. I don't know what that means. I need to come up with like, because there's like the eclipse. If you get eclipsed 3 times, that means she kills your character. Is Marcelo gonna kill you? Sending this message to avoid the spam filter. That's funny. Gosh, it's Cypher. Gojo killed it with that one. Okay. We're gonna head over to actual Lore Tuesday now, gang. Sorry to whoever's crane that was. Let me put up the streaming ping real quick. I am live. There we go. Okay. Cool. Freya, have mercy on me. I'm uploading the trailer now. That's fine. We just started. You're fine. I'll read everything today, even if people post late. It's chill. I'm not gonna be like, no, because I probably won't be streaming on Friday. Maybe. So right now, let me explain why things are so scuffed right now. I just moved in, and I just got the outlet installed like 2 days ago. No, yeah, today's Tuesday. So Sunday, I had the outlet installed so that I could actually plug in my PC. Motherboard is bent. It still works, but I will need a replacement as soon as I can. Same with, and if with the new motherboard, because my current one is so old, I'll need a new processor as well. So if any of you want to support, uh, I would love that. I need to make, because Virgil and I were talking about like how much it takes to maintain the SMP. We spend like, I think it's like $40 a month. So right now, not even like Patreon covers that. um, which is fine. It's a hobby for both of us. It's not like, we're trying to turn it into some career. Uh, but I ordered 3 backdrops, and I thought they were gonna come with the stands. No, I accidentally bought 3 backdrops, no stands. And they're gonna be just like black cloth in a big square around me so that I have some, it's like a little room. I also have a rug that I got from IKEA, and so IKEA doesn't let you order big items online. So we have to go over there. But the car, oh my God, the car. So like right before I came to visit, Virgil's car started having problems, and it's just like, when you work on a car and it's just like thing after thing after thing happens. That's what's been happening with this car. It's been 2 weeks now that it's just been like up in the garage, like front wheels off, bunch of pieces of the like engine out, trying to fix stuff. But hopefully the goal is before next Wednesday we'll finally be able to leave the house and go to IKEA and get my desk, because right now I'm on a teeny tiny, very wobbly desk that I am scared is gonna break any second. Yeah, if it's not one thing, it's the other. It's so true. I I'm also a little bit sick. Virgil and I both got sick, so we're really going through it. It's the first like week that I've been here, but I've been having fun. I just can't wait to get everything all settled, and then I'm gonna stream way more often. And I'm also kind of trying to stall for time because I think uh, a lot of people probably don't realize that the stream starts 2 hours earlier now. Normally there's like 30 people in here. Right now it's 13, so I just want to make sure people aren't gonna like miss out. I'm looking at what I can see of what Krufik has on the dock. Now I'm under the impression they have lost their minds since last I was active. A lot has happened. A lot. I will say that. Alright, well, without further ado, let's get started. From Truffle, the key is watching. I don't know if anyone... Did anyone get this? It's just binary. Let me... Why can't I open... Ugh, it does this every time. Hello? Why can't I... Why won't it let me open a Google Chrome? Please! Let me close this. Also check out my background. My commissions are open. Virgil says I need to stop drawing things for free. Not binary, but also a cipher. Oh, the binary just says shadow. Shadows. Okay, the key is watching shadows. Thank you, thank you. Lore drop, and now I sleep. Alright, and why isn't... don't think OBS is connected to my Stream Deck. Hold on. Stream Deck. Okay, well, it is connected. I don't know why it's... Well, you're gonna have to suffer. I'm sorry. Oh god, it is so bright. Let me open up Stream Deck here. Stream Deck. Let me see if I can get this button working. Sorry about your eyes. Okay, hold on. I'll turn off the display for a second. Oh, just kidding, it's not gonna let me turn off the display because this is on the wrong thing. No display capture. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, I see why. That's... Oh, god damn it. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. Hold on. We're back. Okay, and now you will not be blinded as much. Okay. We can probably do this much. Okay. I deeply apologize to Cookie, I cannot write lore. Don't worry, Mars, my goat. I got it covered. Random combo, but more funny, I imagine. The answers you seek are hidden in the light between the lines of scripture. Do not be deceived by... I almost thought this said of Virgil. Vesna. Marina. Things in Frostfire have been calm, but not in a nice way. Like when the first snow falls in the early morning. More like the calm before the storm, where you can see the dark clouds billowing in the distance. Mars was sitting in Cass's lab, tidying up what she could. She would have been helping Krufik, but she had been isolating herself from Cassim and Mars. As she went to put away the billionth beaker Cass had gotten out and not used, she heard the piston door of Cass's lab slam open, startling her to the point of almost dropping the beaker. It was Krufik, gripping the pieces of shattered sword recovered from the Okel incident. She was muttering something about fixing the sword, and something in Russian from what the others could make out. Crew has been different since helping Okel, snapping at every small provocation, blowing up on either Mars or Cass, usually Cass. Cass, Mars, Krufik greeted without a glance, immediately getting to work on the sword at one of Cassim's workstation. Nice to see you too, Cookie, Mars replied from her stool, spinning around to face both Crew and Cass at the same time. Cookie? Cass? What is with you humans and your titles? Cass murmured under his breath. Titles? Mars asked, confused. Yes, like, why refer to me as Cass? Just use Cassim. He gave Mars a weird look. Oh, that makes sense. Cass is a nickname. It's not some sort of formal title, it's just... Well, I think they're silly. Stupid, actually. They don't make sense. Just use a person's name, he interrupted. It's just a casual or shortened version of someone's name, like when I call Krufik Cookie, or just Crew. Ridiculous. All this nickname stuff. 9 pages. There's no reason. Cass looked back down at his experiment, as if signaling he was done listening to Mars. Mars sighed. There was no point in arguing with him. Cassim is many things, stubborn is one of them, but just as the conversation was going to turn, Krufik straightened its course. Just because it's different from your culture doesn't make it seem ridiculous, Cassim. Krufik snapped as she walked over to the lava to heat up the ends of the blade, using his full name as if it were an insult. Stop acting like you're so much better than us. It's pissing me off and I don't have time nor patience for it. For a moment, it seemed like Cassim was going to argue back, but he didn't. He stayed silent and turned back to his own experiment. Mars looked between the two of them, like a child caught between their parents having an argument. "Do you need anything, Crew?" Mars asked calmly, but not even she was excused from Kruvik's displaced anger. "No," Kruvik replied shortly, connecting the pieces together on the anvil. "Actually," she began after a moment, "ice, coldest we have." "You got it," Mars confirmed as she hopped off her stool with excitement now that Kruvik was actually letting her do something to help. As Mars walked over with the pail of ice, Kruvik cursed and threw the sharpest piece of the sword at the wooden wall, which was embedded almost instantly. She stood there, breathing heavily as both Mars and Cassim froze. Suddenly, just as Cassim was about to make things worse with a sarcastic quip, Kruvik punched a spruce log part of the wall, making a fist-shaped dent, then walked over to the piece to reclaim it and began again. No one spoke, not even as Kruvik muttered about having to remake the sword because it was too stupid to cooperate. Finally, after a few minutes of silence, Cassim spoke. "I'll fix the wall. Don't worry about it," Cassim informed them. Though his words might have been genuine, they sounded sarcastic and cold, which gained a chilling glare from Kruvik. What was different about this glare, though, was her eyes. They were purple. But with a blink, the color was back to a dark blue right eye and a lighter blue left eye. "Crew?" Mars trailed off. "Are you all right?" she asked with slight nervousness. Kruvik sighed loudly, making it sound more like a groan. "Ah, yes, Mars, perfectly fine. I just love idiotic people," she practically yelled while throwing the taken apart bits of the sword into a pail and walking to hold it over the lava to melt with her bare hand. "It's the most fun fucking thing ever." She zoned out into silence as the heated pail handle burned She zoned out into silence as the heated pail handle burned into her skin, but she was too far in her own world to realize it until the metal was all melted. Clearly, she didn't realize she didn't even really answer Mars's question, but Mars was absolutely not about to point that out. After dumping out the metal and getting to work on remaking the sword as she remembered it, she picked up a chunk of the ice Mars had brought and held it in her burned hand. Almost immediately, the wound began healing faster than it had previously. The lab's air shifted as Kruvik continued smithing. Kaz and Mars were still watching Kruvik like she was a taut rope ready to snap. The only sound was Kruvik's mumbled words and the sound of metal against metal as the hammer slammed down on the heated scrap. Mars and Cassim shared a look. Mars was more concerned, Cassim's more interested. Eventually, Mars' worries overflowed its glass. "Is Frostfire an enemy now?" Mars asked Kruvik in a voice similar to a person speaking to a scared creature of the woods. "Now that we saved Okel?" she added. "We better not be," Kruvik muttered. "If we are, it says more about them than it does about us. But it shouldn't concern you. It's my problem, not yours." Mars took a step forward. "Yes, but I am Empress Verity. Foreign matters only concern me and me alone. I'll handle it," Kruvik announced. Cassim leaned against the counter, his arms crossed against his chest. "You haven't gone to any of the meetings in a while, though. They're probably planning on how they could throw us in jail for being buddy-buddy with public enemy number 1. They're gonna throw us in jail? Or execute us. Either way, we're screwed." Kruvik tensed when Cassim said they would be executed. Her hands gripped the anvil with enough force to have made a dent in it. Executed? No one is getting executed. No one is dying. Not again. Not ever again. "Enough!" Kruvik shouted louder than anyone has heard before. The only thing louder would be a scream from pain. Her voice echoed off the walls and chased out all other sounds in the space. And, oddly enough, she sort of sounded like... "No one is dying. No one is put in jail. Mars, stop being so damn gullible, and Cassim, stop filling your head with ideas. You're not helping anyone with that, and you're acting like all of those other idiots that think Okel is the real problem." She paused for a moment. "Go find something to do that's more important than staring at me like I'm a zoo animal." Mars stood there for a moment, hesitating to leave Kruvik alone before eventually leaving the lab with Cass in tow. Though he was already commenting on how it was his lab and he shouldn't have to leave, but even he knew something was wrong with Kruvik. Once the piston doors closed, Kruvik closed her eyes and sighed, letting out all of the tension in her shoulders. Except her hands wouldn't move, like they were stuck. When she opened her eyes and looked down at her hands, The anvil covered by her hands was covered in frost. My god, like Frostfire? Like the faction? Absolute cinema. Ooh, we have a... Let me turn my music down for myself so I can hear this. We have a video. Light. Okay, wait, I'll play this from the beginning. I want to make sure, is the audio loud enough? Did you hear that? I'm not able to check at the same time on OBS. Yeah, okay, cool. Poor Light. Interesting. So who is this? Who is this? It's not Casimir. Is it Villo? Sans? Shut the hell up. It's Papyrus, guys. I love all of the animation we're getting this season. I'm eating it up. Something new, something beautiful. Oh, I just realized I had the filter on. Sorry. Let me watch. It's short, so I'll watch it again without the filter. My bad. My bad. You can actually see it. All these missing people too. It has to be Villo. It looks like Villo. Someone's gotta look under the monastery, I'm telling you. Magos lore. Entry 20, booting up. Entry 20, evolution. I've returned from my incident in the desert. My body has changed. My mechanical parts seem to evolve in a way. It's not techno-organic, I've seen that already. It's something I can't describe. It's weird breathing in this planet's unfiltered oxygen. I forgot what it was like for a sun to even shine down upon my skin. I can do things now, unexplainable things for now. I am able to turn metal into this new substance. Right now it is sort of unstable and super brittle, but with practice I can perfect it. I think I can upgrade machines this way as well. Again, I can't explain this. I do find this substance beautiful. I shall call it exodium. I can also hear machines in some sort of strange way. Their electrical pulses sing to me in a chorus. I can also absorb energy. I have to focus to do it. Maybe that's a good thing. I do not know the limits to this. Maybe I can finally do what I've always wanted to do as a kid. I want to hold lightning. Visitation. Okolore. Do you just sit here all day? The child sitting at the edge of my bed asked me boredly. Yes, I do, I replied monotonously, laying down, my arms crossed over my body and shackled to the bed. That's boring. Why don't you ever go out? The child swung its head around as they said the word boring. They don't let me. They think I'm a criminal, I said once again, no change in demeanor. Well, that's not very nice. What did you even do? It asked curiously, shifting the weight of the bed with every movement. I enacted justice, I answered, beginning to get fed up. Why are you even here? What is your name, child? Do you not have people who should be tending to you? A name? What's that? It asked, head tilted. Something to be referred to by, of course. I scoffed. Oh, no I don't. Do you? My name is General Okel Skullcath. I continued to stare at the ceiling above me as I answered the questions that should be common sense to those here. General? Like the army guys? That's your name? It's my title, I corrected it. I'm a general. My name is Okel. I like that name. Can I have it? No, you can't have my name. I sit up and give the child a look of frustration, hoping it will scare it off. I'll ask again. Do you not have caretakers? No, I don't know what those are. Are you a caretaker? No, I'm not a caretaker. Caretakers are like bigger creatures that keep you alive. I shake my head at it. Oh, no, I don't have those. Can I stay with you? You're like a big person. It smiles as it speaks. Fine, you can stay with me. Get comfortable. We'll be here for a while. The baby. The baby Okel. Backstory for Zilang Su. Interesting. Photographer. Photography is my passion. And some sort of rainbow censorship. Well, let me do this so you can actually see what I'm looking at. The meeting aftermath. Let me see, maybe could I fit it like this, or is that too wide? Yes, I can. Well, that meeting went so well, Starry thinks to herself, leaning against a tree as she watches the shops. Villagers and people selling shit. People still on edge from the meeting a few days ago. She looks over at the community center, then stands up and walks over. She hesitates at the door before opening it with a creak. To her surprise and honestly relief, no one was inside. She glances behind her at the others before entering with a soft click of the door. What she's doing isn't wrong, but why does it feel that way? She scans around, making her way to her mailbox, and checks. Nothing. Like normal, she mumbles to herself before closing it and looking at the meeting room. She takes steps to the door, hesitates, then enters it, closing the door behind her. She has many feelings of that day, during it also. Anger, sadness, guilt. She walks to the seats, gently dragging her hand across them as she thinks back, looking over where Violence was sitting. Did she go too far? No, she didn't, right? He hurt Comet, sent Eclipse after them, but Comet seemed disappointed when she asked should I kill him. Why? Maybe that was the wrong thing to say, but he hurt. She did like him, but this is bullshit. She sighs, talking out loud to no one. Why? It doesn't make sense. Why did he send Eclipse to them? Starry thinks, walking to where Violence sat, hands holding onto the seats as she thinks, her tail tapping the ground. What reasoning? Not like I can ask him, she huffs some, leaning against the seats, arms crossed, looking out the window. Talking to him is against what Mira said, but then again, does anyone truly listen? Does anyone listen to Mira? She's the goddess's right-hand man, but Okel did have a point with that, didn't they? Freya is just so useless. No, maybe passive probably. Pathetic? A little. Starry softly thinks, then groans, hiding her face in her arms. It's not fair. She stands up properly. Why do the bad guys have to be cool? Why does that make me bad? How everyone glared at me when I ran after Comet and Cameron to make sure makes me think so. Starry walks around the room, pacing around, then comes to a stop at where she sat next to Comet. I wonder how Violence and Okel are doing. Ward. I don't want to lose them, but... She turns to look out the window, her hands in her jacket pocket as her ear twitches. It's not fair. I guess life isn't fair, but they're bad. They're evil. But maybe no one has to know? She walks to the window, looking at the trees and plants and wildlife. Who'd know? Not Ward. No one would tell them. Mira? She's busy doing whatever the fuck. Freya? Ha! That goddess is still too busy being a crybaby after what Okel did. And Marcello? He's too busy also. No one would know. Nor care, honestly. It would just be for questioning. What makes them tick? Why they did what they did? What the reasonings are? She starts to pace around the meeting room as she thinks out loud. It's a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it? I'm allowed to be selfish, greedy with what I want to do. I'm allowed to ask them questions, am I not? A journalist asks questions to people who are bad, why can't I? I'd be a journalist collecting the news for someone. She looks at the ground and then at the window again, silently thinking. Maybe I can look for them. But if others knew I was, they'd probably tell Comet. She brings her hand to her chin, thinking. I'm sure Mira and Freya and fuck others would look through their mail. How do I... She glances out the window and sees a bird. That's it. She hits the glass with her palms, her tail wagging with a smile on her face, like a kid looking through a window at a dog for sale. Carrier pigeons, or parrots. It'll work. Perfect. No one would know or nor care. I can write a meet-up spot and talk to them. Her tail wags as she eyes the parrot that flies away, but slowly frowns. But what if someone does intercept it? People are assholes. Everyone on this planet is an asshole. She moves, leaning against the window with her arms crossed as she thinks. Maybe I can hunt down friends of theirs and give them letters. No, they'd tell others, or maybe rat me out. Well, maybe I can get Sunny to deliver something to me for me to Okul. They seem to have a close enough bond. But Sunny is like, what, 3? Nah, I can't do that to a baby. She taps her foot as she thinks. Who else? Truffle, maybe? Maybe. She digs in her bag and starts to make a list in her journal. Someone has to be reliable in this fucked up world, right? She can't visit Okul in the hospital, Magus would tell the others, and those cameras in the rooms would be recording. Could she maybe destroy the camera in Okul's room and talk to them? No, too risky. She slowly looks up and pins herself against the glass, seeing Gatsby. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, bitch. He just smiles and walks off. He just did that to be a bitch. Sure. Okay, then. Yeah. She watches and slowly relaxes, blinking, then sighs. Bitch. Guess this is his way of saying, give the news to me, probably. She goes to write again, making a list for Okul. She flips the page to write a list for Violence, but stops. Does he even have friends? She's seen him talk with people, yes, but actually have friends? Damn, clown boy has no friends. Might as well make him a mime. She taps the book with the pen and thinks and blinks. As she thinks and blinks. She did see his house one time. The casual breaking and entering should be fine, right? Yeah, it's fine. Can't be worse than whatever else these bitches do. She writes down Violence's house in her book and then closes it and shoves it back into her bag. Then starts to leave the community center. Seems this hybrid has some meetings to set up, and some people to avoid. I don't think we've seen Starry lore in, like, ever. Visitation 2. An entire day later, and the child continues to idle in my room. There was the letters? There were more? Oh, you're talking about... Oh, right. Oh, I thought you were... Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Right. I just feel like I've never seen, like, a thing like that for Sorry. An entire day later, and the child continues to idle in my room, taking up space and my patience. I still don't know why this child has decided my room is better than its own, even though it clearly has its own. The hospital gown is a giveaway to that. They really don't like you, do they? It asks, sprawled across the floor. They don't. They really don't. I try my best to be kind. It clearly has had no one else visit it. You were talking about names yesterday. Do you want to give me one, since I don't have one? It said, while sitting up and looking in my direction. I didn't plan on it, but I suppose I should. At least until someone else comes around to claim you as their own. I ponder for a moment, thinking of possible names to attribute to the child. How do you pronounce that? Vakus? How about Vakus? Vakus? Probably Vakus. What does Vakus mean? It tilts its head. He was a god, a protective being, and it's pronounced Vakus. I both explain and correct it. I don't know how to pronounce that either. Oh, I like that. I want to be Vakus. It makes me think of couscous. I don't know why. It smiles excitedly. We can also just call you Vay. Oh, maybe Vakus. I don't know. We can also just call you Vay for brevity's sake. I watch as Vay fidgets excitedly at having a name. It never crossed my mind that there is a child who's been injured enough to have been in the same area as me. So why are you in the hospital again? You don't look injured. Oh, I don't think I am. At least not yet. I might be, though. Maybe I'm injured non-visibly? I just woke up here. Vay shrugged as though they didn't care. I couldn't blame them. Oh, it's changed from it to them. Well, if you don't even know why you're here, the hospital staff will probably discharge you soon. I'd get real friendly with the visitors in this wing if you want a place to stay after. But I want to stay with you. You're nice to me. They giggle and smile. This isn't nice. Talk to the visitors. I'm sure they'll latch onto you like leeches. They eat up that cute shit. I scoff, thinking of the visitors who've been through here. I don't want to talk to them. When you get out, I'm coming with you. They frown and pout. Fine. I relinquish this debate to them as exhaustion hits and I drift off to sleep. Art done by Rotwood and I, mostly Rotwood because they're fantastic like that. We got Lucky and Rotwood as a dog. This is great. Awkward conversations. For Lucky, the last couple weeks have been uneventful, or so she remembers. A little calm in her day is all she ever wants as she walks her dog Bingus through solace. Bingus? Bingus, not the most charming name, but a clown did name him. Fair enough. As she strolled and enjoyed the wind on her face, Bingus suddenly took off, sending a jolt of panic as she chased after him. Hey, you mutt, where do you think you're going? The excitement ended quickly as her eyes came upon that same recognizable and revolting face. Rotwood's day was like any other, riding across Solace on Buckley and lounging about. By the afternoon he was enjoying an afternoon nap, sunbathing in a tree, when the noisy racket of barking began. Of course, as he got eyes on the charging dog, not far behind was that blasted goat. Damn mutt. Lucky finally caught up to Bingus in a huff, quickly pretending to recover before calling, Pretending to recover? Dog, let's go. The stubborn dog didn't move a muscle, too interested in trying to catch Rotwood in the tree. Damn you, she groaned, being cut off by the sound of laughter pooling in. Can't even keep your own mutt trained, huh? Rotwood spoke out with a humored and loud tone, staring down at Lucky. Lucky huffed, looking up at him. Not everyone listens to instructions, meathead. The name-calling didn't faze Rotwood, for he seemed to be enjoying every bit of watching the satyr strain herself over a dog. You know, sometimes you gotta wait it out, goat. He rolled his arm onto the other side of the branch, grappling onto it for support while listening to her complaints with clear amusement. Lucky scoffed. What do you suppose I do with that time? She said as she cocked her head a bit. He shrugged, rolling over on the branch. How about you shut your trap so I can finish my nap? Rotwood yawned after saying that, his head resting with ease on his knuckles. Lucky went to protest, but for once she knew he was right. Waiting this out was probably the only way for the dog to get rid of that extra energy. She stood there a couple moments before speaking. So, got an animal, I'm assuming? She blurted as she leaned against the tree. This more gentle approach from Lucky surprised Rotwood, but he looked over at her nonetheless. A smirk grew on his face as he began speaking, sparking the first friendly conversation between the two. Yay! I'm so happy. It's positive. You got a positive interaction with the two of them. They're gonna be friends. The search for light. I just realized I've had the music off this whole time. Sorry.
The day is 10:24. I am reviewing the initial search for light and how it calms the device. The events of that day, all of it. I need to know where I looked before in order to start my search again today, and on to the next day. I don't know the exact order of events. I wasn't recording anything, probably. I know that I circused the garden by the community center. It was her last known location, so that's where I started. I looked in the Parks and Recs building. I know she sleeps there often. I don't know what I was thinking. She was reported missing, so I know that she wasn't in any known location. I just was starting to walk in and... I had to call the cops thing after that, but I still felt the really dying that it wasn't moving.
The damage noise.
Sarah was told by the location as being by the Lilac Expeditions, but it must have filled in the information manually based on speculative knowledge because it's not actually the Lilac Expeditions area. was mentally preparing myself for the worst.
Lights comms devices found on the ground.
Sometime after that, I encountered Khan.
Oh,
I don't know if it was the same day or the following one.
you have sushi? I'm jealous.
You...
Oh.
Hi. I'm sorry if I startled you. I'm looking for, someone. Have you been here long? Have you been here long?
No, I haven't.
Okay, a friend of mine has gone missing, and I found her comms device over there. I don't have cameras here. I was just hoping that maybe... It's fine.
Light. Is
Yes.
that is the wing nurse, the one with the wings on her head?
Yes, yeah, she...
Ah.
Yeah, I just got the notification earlier today that she went missing, and I didn't know. She went missing yesterday, and I didn't know about it.
I can keep an eye out for the nurse, the Light, if you need me to.
When I saw Troy, I did advise him to come back to find somebody, but I'm assuming that hasn't happened.
No.
I see.
I love this team.
Great.
It's so awkward.
I will be more direct next time if I ever see them again. Well, I suppose we should keep an eye out for each other's missings. I will keep my search going on, and if I see anything, I'll tell you. If you see anything, you can report it to my mailbox at the Keepers of Solace area.
Okay. I can do that.
Alright. I need to carry on while I still have daylight. I wish you good luck, and I hope that your friend comes
He's
home.
awkward, but like so well-meaning.
Okay. I hope that your friend comes home as well.
Thank you.
Bye.
The mailboxes are the barrels of the colorful signs of the community center. The ones on the left side are just for Keepers of Solace workers. I think. Which did you work? Are you in the hospital? Whatever. Yes, put your name in whatever one you're part of. I think I may have moved you around because you were inactive for a while, so I wanted someone more active leading HR, right. Now it's SR technically. It's Salatian resources to have humans, because it's not just humans, because there's only like 2 humans on Solace. Well, there's probably a lot more. But I guess Cam is human. Anyway. A lot more than humans on Solace. And the ones on the right are for factions. If need be, we could set up a bigger actual post office. That might be a room to put in the resources building, maybe. Anyway.
This brings me to, I had reason to believe that somehow Elliot could have been behind Light's disappearance. Though at the time, it still didn't make sense for me, at least previous kidnappings. I just was following a hunch. It somehow seemed like something she would do. I ended up finding something entirely different when following her trail. The scene of a battle. Dried blood and strange spikes.
Who was it that was It was Elia and someone.
Yeah, rather quickly.
I don't remember who she encountered.
Then I met up with Miss Kathy
Helios,
to
right.
inform the status of my search. Oh, there you are. I wasn't sure I'd be able to find you tonight.
I'm about to head it back out actually, but is there something wrong? You don't seem to have found light either, so
Yes, that is actually the news I came to deliver.
I see.
I ran a wave grid formation search south and west of the area she was last seen, looking for her comms device, and then predictably led nowhere.
It's alright, Waddles. We'll find her soon.
Wait. No. There's something I'm missing.
And you only recently healed from your injuries. That poison was a deadly thing.
Wait on.
Oh?
Red tears. Red tears. Isn't that what Mira said in the last meeting? That frog returned with red tears. Recent reports about entities or kidnapping victims returning bleeding from the eyes. It was always phrased like that. Bleeding, not...
So
Waddles?
I have another meeting to
red
research.
tears.
Anyways,
Wait, say
while
that
I was
again?
out, I did discover something else that is unsettling.
Monastery of red tears.
It's directly to the west out of here. Shortfire Way, so I was wondering if you happen to know anything about it. I know someone who was certainly there, but there could be many more. I just don't...
It's true.
Helios.
What?
Those spikes, they were made by Belios. They're identical to the towel I've been staying in, Belios' towel. When did you find this? Do you believe it's still around now?
I just found it moments ago. It looked like it had been there for a while. I don't believe you would go back. Belios. Why would Belios be targeted by Aaliyah?
Aaliyah? I've been saying it wrong. It's not Elia. It's Aaliyah. Interesting. Belios being targeted by Aaliyah. Search mission 4. Have we not solved the bedrock not being able to craft issue? No, it's a geyser problem. It's nothing we can do about it. It's because just like, it's like Via version and geyser together because technically the server is like, it's like not on the newer version, but people in newer versions are able to join. There's just weird conflicts and stuff. Yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry. Alright, the factions list grows. I sorted out all the factions that don't have areas, I think. I don't really know, actually. I just guessed based on what I've heard around. It would be so much easier if a map was made, but whatever, it's fine. I didn't go to the faction meeting because of it. It probably wasn't important anyway. Just more people screaming and stomping and pointing fingers. They might have talked about the missing people, who some of them came back a few days later. Nothing more than that. There wasn't a use of me being there, either, because no one stepped up to offer with finding Croy. I found his shield in a random house in a snowy area. The person who lives there was lucky they weren't there. Lucky they weren't there. It was not lucky. They were lucky they weren't there, or I would have. I have it now. That's all that matters. I found the person who got shot's faction. That's crazy. That's just her legacy now. Ruler of guilt is what I call them. Croy told me stories using that name and called them Krufak a few times. So it's the same person, I think. The faction was a bit barren, but it looked nice. There was a stage building with voting boxes in the ground in front of it, and ledges on the walls. There were a few other structures dotted around the place, and some farms, but other than that, there wasn't much there. I saw Krufak, though. but they didn't see me. They were talking to a tall blonde man with a bunch of flowers all over him. How he wasn't freezing, I had no idea. He was walking around in half shoes while I had to keep lifting my mask to blow my hands away from numbness. There was no sign of Croy, and I know that it's going to be even harder now because someone took his gods-be-damned shield, which was the only way I could spot him. The only way many people could find him, if they were looking. I went to the hospital again. I wanted to visit Zin. I heard she was awake and I wanted to talk to her finally, but she wasn't in the room she was supposed to be in. That room was empty. I did find the blind executioner. It was very hard not to. She was whining and yelling obnoxiously loud. I stared at her for a long while, and I think she saw me too, because her face went towards me and she quieted down a bit. I just stared back before I was ushered away by the doctor. I don't think Copper knows she's awake yet. Maybe I could tell him and we can go in together. I don't know where he is right now, though. I sort of wish he was here so I could talk to him. He seems wise, and he listens well, tries to understand, and I can defend myself if he ends up being mean. I've gotten better at fighting anyway from practicing. He won't get me if he tries. I finally found the Lilac faction after I left the hospital. It looked interesting, but again, no Croy. I even called out for him and everything. Afterwards, I was taking a break and crossing factions out of my list. Frostfire and Lilac were searched. Factions without areas crossed out. I was trying to figure out where to go next when a person showed up. It was the water tank person. I can't remember his name. I'll just call him Mr. Tank, I think, because he had a tank on his head, or that is his head. He was looking for Miss Guide, the nurse that can see spirits all the time. I didn't know what he meant at first, or asked. When I asked if it was the nurse, he sounded confused, or that it was a stupid question. It was hard to understand him. His voice was weird, as if understanding English wasn't hard enough. He said something at one point, and I just went quiet because I didn't know whether he was asking me something or not. It was awkward. He just kept staring at me. He had seen Croy a while ago, and he never told me. Mr. Tank is always there for faction meetings when I am. I'd see him, and not a fucking word? I wanted to ask him why and how long ago, but it clearly wasn't important at the time, considering how casually he mentioned it. He said that he told Croy to go back to me, and he said that if he sees the ghost again, he'd be firmer. I don't believe him. Aw, rip. I told people to tell me if they see him, how many others have seen him, and just kept their mouths shut. Does it really not matter? Everyone else is worried about the other missing people. What about Croy? He matters too. Just because he's dead doesn't mean bad things can't happen to him. That he can't be trapped or hurt. That isn't how it works. He matters too. I'm going to the place Mr. Tank works. Ensure, or whatever it's called. He was the only person I know who has seen Croy so far, so I'm searching there. He could be hiding something and didn't tell me. Croy could even still be there. I'll probably go back to that cabin where Croy's shield was later too. I want to question whoever lives there. Bye, Spawn. I love seeing the progression of Kron's search. There will be mentions of blood, panic attacks, and memory loss. Read at your own risk. The crickets chirped their song, filling the night with sound. The grass danced and swayed about with the wind. A body laid in the path of the garden that was set up close by the hospital and Parks and Rec Center. A girl, whose normally dusty red hair was now as white as freshly fallen snow. She looked healthy and was alive, besides the stain of blood from her eyes. Her tail twitched and curled closer to her body as a particular bit of cold air graced her skin and scales. A blade of grass tickled her nose. Slowly, black and pale violet eyes opened. She slowly pushed herself up, wincing as her head pounded with a headache. She looked around, her ears twitching to every sound in the night. Where was she? Solace. No, she should be home. She lived in a desert. Her home was destroyed by a war. What war? Did the area look familiar? It did. Waters made this place. Who is Waters? Yui shook her head, lifting her hand to rub her head. She chirped in misery as she curled up a bit tighter around herself. She pulled her hands away and saw that they were smaller. Oh, by the way, guys, how do you like my stream quality? I mean, obviously, like, you probably can't see it very well, but I'm streaming at full quality now. Like, full 1080p, I think, or maybe, does Twitch allow, like, 4K, whatever? Anyway, 6,000 kilobytes per second stream, like, bitrate instead of 2,000. It's so great. And there will be no more dipping of quality or, disconnects and everything. I don't know, I zoned out too. She pulled her hands away and saw that they were smaller. They've always been small, have they? They should be bigger. No. Your phone only allows 720? I'll have to check. Maybe it's my settings. Yui whined and clutched her head. These thoughts were making her headache even worse. She took a deep breath and calmed herself down. She looked around, her ears twitching to every sound. Where was she? Solace. Why was it so cold? Autumn. Why did her head hurt so much? Tortured. Why was there blood coming from her eyes? Blank. No, don't start that, Yui mumbled, her tail twitching. She looked about and got to her feet. She stumbled and grabbed hold of a wall. She blinked, her vision blurring and clearing. Yui slowly walked out of the garden, stumbling and nearly falling several times. Eventually she was at the entrance. She looked around. She blinked, trying to clear her vision. She chirped as she clutched her head, her headache worsening with the movement. She tried to take a step, but fell as her legs gave out from under her. She tumbled onto the stone path with a yelp. She slowly pushed herself up to sit. Her ears twitched to the sound of distant running. Yui tensed up and slowly forced herself to stand up. She looked up towards the sound and saw a man with a water jug for a head. He wore blue and black clothes and gloves. He was running towards her. He stopped a few feet away from her, taking a moment to catch his breath. Waters! Who's Waters? Friend, boss, figure, father figure, safe. The stranger took a sharp breath and slowly walked closer, kneeling in front of Yui. Light, are you all right? He asked, with concern in his voice. Yui's ears twitched. She looked up at the man. She couldn't get a look at him. Her vision kept blurring. Who is Light? She asked. The man twitched, as if he had been shocked. And who are you? The man stared at Yui for a long time. She twitched and started to try to get up again. She nearly fell again, but the man reached out and caught her. He helped to stabilize her. How many people have memories? It's dementia SMP, I'm telling you. Do you not remember me? The man asked, his concern growing. Am I supposed to? The girl replied, her voice soft. I'm sorry. The man shook his head. It's Waters, remember? He prompted. Yui took the time to think, to try and recall Waters. A few fuzzy memories came to her, flashes of a garden under an ocean, of a warm pool where she, an old lady, and Waters spoke, but the flashes were gone too quickly to allow Yui to remember properly. She huffed, her ears lowering. I'm sorry, all I can get is bits and pieces, she said softly. Waters took a deep breath and sighed tiredly. Slowly, gently, he picked up Yui and carried her into the hospital through the emergency room entrance. He shielded Yui from Okel's gaze, though she did catch sight of the warden briefly. She growled before she could even stop herself. Anger, pity, worry, hate welled up briefly within the young dragon. She glared at Warden over Waters' arm as the feathers on her wings ruffled, puffing up, and her tail lashed about. The older man couldn't help but to chuckle and adjusted his hold on Yui in the slim chance she would jump out of his hold. She didn't, choosing to simply glare at Okel. Magos looked up from his computer and saw both Waters and Yui. He stood and walked from the desk over to the pair. I was unaware that you had a child, Waters, the robot commented as he looked at the young girl. Waters fidgeted. No, this isn't, he stuttered. It was hard to explain that the child in his arms was actually Light when she usually appeared to be 21 to 22, and certainly not an 11-year-old child. He took a sharp breath and slowly let it out. This is Light, he said once he had composed himself. Magos's head snapped up sharply to stare at Waters. Then he looked back down at the child in the man's eyes and finally put the two together. So she's returned, but changed, the robot muttered. Follow me. He turned and walked to an examination room with Waters right behind him. Waters placed Yui onto the examination table. She wiggled about in place, not liking how cold the table was. She chirped and trilled, her feathers puffed up and her wings wrapped around her in an attempt to warm her against the cold. Magos gently pulled Yui's wings away from her body, much to her protest. I know that it's cold, Light. I just have to... Magos trailed off as soon as he caught sight of the streaks of gold. It was well known that Light's scars turned gold for an unknown reason. There were only two known scars on Light's body when she had gotten kidnapped. Now there were many. Too many. Waters and Magos shared a look for a moment before looking back at Yui. Light, Magos started, but Yui had cut him off. That is not my name, she said. My name is Yuikima, or Yui for short. She looked between the two people, her ears twitching. The two stared at her for a while. They looked at each other and looked back at Yui. Yui, where did those scars come from? Magos asked. Yui blinked and looked down at her arms. Both of them were littered with glowing gold scars. Her ears started to ring as her eyes widened. She stared at her arms as flashes of memory flashed through her mind. A war, a medical tent, desperate attempts to save her patients, a loud sound, fire, burning, pain, crawling out from a pile of bodies, captured, tortured, escaped, your fault, your fault. Yui! Yui's head snapped up as fresh blood tears fell from her eyes. Waters was in front of her, his hands on her shoulders. She stared at him. The memories that had trapped her were gone, as if they were never there in the first place. I don't know, Yui said, her voice barely audible. Waters stared at Yui, seemingly searching for her eyes for something. He sighed and moved away. Magos walked forward. That's all right, he said. Here, may I examine you? Yui nodded and stayed still as the robot man looked at her over for any more injuries. He paused for a moment when he saw a golden scar on the child's neck, but didn't ask about it to avoid the girl going into another spiral. Soon he was done with his check. He took a tissue and gently wiped the blood from Yui's face and from around her eyes. Once he was done, he stepped away and sighed. Physically, she's all right, Magos said, but her form is different than usual. Are there any other effects? She's missing memories, Waters answered. Magos looked at the man. Then he looked back at Yui. What year do you think it is? He asked, hoping to gauge how much Yui had forgotten. 2491, Yui answered carefully. Uh-oh. That's the year the Great Anomaly happened. That's 6 years ago. Waters' head snapped toward the girl. Water sloshed about the water jug around his head. What? He questioned, his body tensing. Yui's ears lowered. Magos placed a hand onto Water's shoulder. Let us talk outside, he said, and pulled the man out of the room. Yui watched the two leave. She waited for them to return. There was a raised voice. Waters. Waters, I'm sorry. Why am I sorry? Waters is worried. About me? Why? He cares. He does? Yui looked up towards the door when it opened. Magos and Water entered. You'll be staying here for a couple days, the mechanical man said. For observation. Yui nodded in understanding. Waters walked over and gently picked up Yui. He followed Magos to another room. He sat her on the bed in the room and pulled up a chair. Rest, Yui, he said. Yui slowly relaxed. She didn't know when sleep claimed her, but she was asleep in no time. It would be a fitful rest, but it was rest all the same. Dementia SMP is true. Super loud epic. Wait, is it really loud? I'm so sorry, I can't tell. Hold on. Let me turn it. It's like as quiet as I can make it. Let me do that. Hi, Strawberry. Warn me next time. I'm sorry. I don't have my second monitor, so I can't see how loud stuff is, or like, you know, if anything is going awry. Okay. I'm sorry. Were you at least able to hear me talking? Oh god. Causing unnecessary necessary problems. More Kron. Did they lock you in the writer's basement again? Yeah, they did. This is Virgil's basement. I'm locked down here, along with all of my bad staff members. If you're a bad staff member, you belong in this box. Right here. Oh, why is it doing this? Hold on. Wrong thing. There we go. Causing unnecessary necessary problems. God damn it. Here we go. Sonic Adventure. Who's killing the mood? What happened to the setup? So, I moved in with Virgil because he's my boyfriend. We've been dating for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in just under a month. And I decided to move out here to Pennsylvania. And he lives in a finished basement. But this is the scary looking part of it. So, do the 4 meme. What is the 4 meme? 4! That's what I assume the 4 meme is. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm very happy. But I don't have any of my furniture, so I'm using a rickety old desk for now until I can get to IKEA. But there's car troubles, and so I can't drive the car. And just, IKEA is like an hour and a half away, so I can't really Uber to it. Just anyway, I'll get to it. Alright, let's read. Kron glanced back over their shoulder, watching as Waters left, following his search pattern to find his friend Light. When Kron was sort of certain that the man was out of the way and wouldn't notice them, they quickly walked back, following the path that Waters had come from by estimate, copying the zigzag pattern they had seen the man doing. What car do I have? It's like a Nissan Murano. Thank you, Virgil. He happened to be walking by at that exact moment. Their mind reeled over the interaction, and it only served to confuse and frustrate them more. Waters had seen Croy. He talked to him weeks ago, and not a single word? Not a heads up? Let him out of the closet? He walked up the stairs. He's free to leave. I'm the one he's keeping down here. I actually also, we're getting a second cat tree for Beef so that she can sit right here and you guys can see her. We'll have a little beef cam or something, but continuing. That man knew that Kron was looking for the ghost. If the book they left wasn't enough of an indication, Kron had literally gotten up on the stand and said they were searching and needed help. Needed to be informed, but it seemed it wasn't important enough, and that only pissed them off more. And made them suspicious. What if Waters knew more and that's why he didn't tell Kron earlier? What if there was something at that faction thing he ran? That area is Kron's next target for investigation anyway. So after a couple hours and many trial and errors, and questioning if they were even going the right way, Kron found the copper and metal mast that was this SU on C. NC, sorry, I keep calling it on C. They gawked at it for a moment, amazed and curious by the sheer size of it. They wandered over the water's edge, glancing around and not noticing the cameras littered about the entire area that they were no doubt being picked up on the footage of each. They squinted behind their mask, seeing the rest of the station descending into dark water below, the orange glowing lights at the very bottom, the bubbles that almost reached the surface before popping. Kron stood back up a moment later, walking around to find a door or some form of entryway. Weirdly enough, there were no windows in sight, and when they found what they believed was the door, it was blocked off by a big metal wall just behind the doorway. At first, Kron tried to pull it open from the bottom, but they couldn't get a proper grip. Then they tried to find a button or key to use. No luck. They grunted, fiddling with one of the buttons of their trench coat, which had come loose and was literally hanging on by a thin thread. Then they remembered their very effective move at the hospital when they first went to visit Zinnia. So with that, they quickly ran around the area until they found a big rock. Then they ran back with a little difficulty, stopping a few feet from the door. They lifted the rock onto their shoulder with both hands, leaning back. With a heave, they threw the rock at the metal wall, flinching as it hit with a loud, hollow bang. They instinctively covered their ears before quickly moving to hide behind a wall, peeking out and waiting for someone to come out so they could sneak past. They waited a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Why was nothing happening? There were other people in here, right? Kron carefully snuck back out from their hiding place, glancing around and then back at the metal wall. There was a tiny dent in it, and that's it. You're sending Virgil to Ireland? Is Virgil's spotted target neutralized? Virgil did not survive the great Why was nothing out? Let's see. Kron carefully snuck back out from their hiding place, glancing around and then back at the metal wall. Oh yeah, I read that already. Kron muttered confused words beneath his breath, picking up the rock again to throw it once more. But before they could throw it again, a voice rang out behind them, making them spin around sharply. Oh, what the fuck? It was the angry clown from the faction meetings. Violence! Kron let out a quiet string of curses in their native tongue, fumbling with the rock to hide it behind their back, sidestepping a bit. But they paused as the clown, Violence, spoke up again. Hey, person? What you doing there? Are you here to take me in? Kron stared in confusion. Take him in? What did the clown take them for? A magic door opener? What? No, doing something that not your business. They shifted back a bit, glancing at the metal wall and the rock they held behind their back. Violence seemed to notice after a short, awkward silence, peeking over Kron's shoulder before seeing the rock. Oh, and seeing the rock before Kron moved away again. Why exactly are you here then? Did I not just say it wasn't his business? Kron let out a small sigh, placing the rock down begrudgingly on the ground beside their feet, wiping their hands in their already dirty jumper. Looking for my friend. Oh, who? I might know them, considering I work here. Violence did quotation marks with his fingers before putting his hands on his hips, his eyes briefly going over to the rock. He also took note of the camera near the blocked door, but it seemed to be powered down, so it wasn't of concern at the moment. Kron tilted their head a bit, perking up slightly. You work with the tank person? When they were met with a confused expression from Violence, Kron tried to indicate what they meant, using their hands to indicate a shape of a tank or jug around their head, while repeating themselves. Until eventually, Violence's face lit up in realization. Waters! Yes, I do. Why? Talked to them earlier. They saw a friend a while ago. Didn't tell me. I followed path they came from and found here. Kron reluctantly explained, adjusting their mask awkwardly. They weren't all that sure about talking about the situation fully, especially to someone with connections to Waters himself, but they felt they didn't exactly have a choice now. They jerked their head to the blocked door and pointed to the rock by their feet. I want go in. Violence let out a heavy, slow breath, looking around the SUNC station building, hands still on his hips. Oh, good luck with that, friend. This place is apparently on lockdown. Violence moved around to the left, which urged Kron to follow him until they came to another blocked door by the same metal wall as the previous one. Trust me, I've tried. I even bent the door trying to open it. Heh. Kron stared at the metal wall. Wait, was that Violence or Kron? Oh, I see. They both tried to bend. That's funny. Kron stared at the metal wall, noticing the much more prominent dent in the door compared to Kron's attempt. They grunted in frustration, crossing their arms and turning away, pacing and fiddling with their sleeves. Shit, I should have asked the Waters to help maybe. But they were looking for the winged nurse? Light, I think. Light? She's usually at the hospital or at home. I'm surprised you can't find her. When Violence said that, Kron paused, stopping their pacing and looking up at the clown. Did he not know? Did Waters not tell him? She's missing. He had posters with him, I saw, and he found her speaker box thing, the comm device, in the place I was near Lilac Place. His voice is weird, hard to hear words. She's missing. Before Kron could understand, they were suddenly grabbed by the shoulders, Violence's face being suddenly right in front of their face, being uncomfortably clear compared to what they're used to. Light is missing? What do you mean she's missing? When did she... Kron quickly shoved Violence off, which didn't do much, but it did make the clown let go. They took a few breaths, brushing off their arms. Sorry, I not who to ask. I only know this recent too. An awkward silence followed after, with Kron still adjusting his trench coat. They noticed that Violence's hands were still reaching out slightly, but eventually they fell to his sides. They could feel a sense of uncertainty from the clown. Light fine. She get posters. She come back a few days. All with posters due. Might return tomorrow. How are you sure of that? A hunch. Many people look. More people more likely to find. Oh, so your friend must be fairly recently missing then. How come you're breaking in? There must be better ways to find them. 42 days. Searching alone. Enough proof Light be found fast. Kron turned and walked back over to the rock near the door they tried to break open, lifting it back up and walking back, seeing Violence standing there with an awkward expression on his face. Kron ignored it, their muscles tense with the weight of the rock, but also the jealousy they felt. It wasn't fair, it really wasn't. 42? Jeez, what? How come the judicial branch isn't on this? Who's your friend? Have you reported this? I spoke at faction meeting. I wrote book, which was taken after read. I asked, no one help. Solace does jack shit. Miss Judge there, Stardust Lady there, Captain there, Librarian there, you there, nothing done. Kron's voice grew louder, their accent thicker, very clearly growing more frustrated. The rock almost fell from the grip of their fingers, but they held on tighter, one of their dirty nails cracking beneath the intensity of the grip. He helped Blind Prophet once for own sake, and he not matter, but God of Tales, people sad over after killed. He helped General too, but friend Ghost, he can't hurt, right? Kron noticed Violence tense, seeming to realize finally who Kron was, and who their friend was. But before the clown could say something, Kron had swung the rock at the blocked door Violence had dented, somehow managing to break it open. However, that resulted in the piercing sound of blaring alarm sirens to sound out from what sounded like everywhere. Red lights flashed and twirled from the dark inside of the station that Kron could see, giving Kron bare glimpses of the contents within. along with weird metallic bugs that came skittering out hurriedly at their feet. It's the scarabs! Both individuals covered their ears when the alarm cried out. The sound of the robotic and familiar to Violence voice of Siros, calling out in his usual flat, emotionless tone, syncing up with it. Violence stepped forward a bit, cupping his hands around his mouth and shouting, trying to make sure Siros heard him over the wailing. Hey, Siros! It's me, Violence. It was an accident. I promise I'll fix it. Breach detected. Alerting Administrator Waters. Fuck. No, Siros, it's fine. I can fix it. Don't call Waters. Violence noticed the cameras near them now powered on, their lenses focused right on him and Kron. Kron, growing frustrated by the noise, instinctively grabbed hold of Violence's wrist and started dragging him away from the station, shouting frantically in a language the clown couldn't understand. He was reluctant at first, still trying to reason with the system that is Siros, but finding his attempts futile, he followed Kron, the blaring noise of panic fading into the distance behind them both. Eventually, when the noise had ceased, the duo stopped, with Kron finally letting go, shaking their hands anxiously, pacing in a small circle a few feet away from Violence, who was looking back the direction they had run from. Sighing after hearing more incoherent rambles from Kron, he decided to confront them, rubbing his temple with the pads of his fingers. Look, man, I understand you're upset, but that was uncalled for. Kron didn't respond, although they did stop mumbling, pacing in a circle, hands now in their hood, fidgeting with their hair this time. Violence continued, moving to try to get Kron to look and actually listen to him. Look, I'm trying to be friendly, but you just put me and you in some deep waters. But for real, the whole reason I didn't break down the door is because, well, I respect Waters. Just blame me. I broke door, I set off alarm. My fault. Kron finally responded, grasping their hair in fists and tugging firmly, their hands clammy with anxious sweat. They sniffed softly, taking out a small notebook out of the inside of their trench coat, opening it up. The paper was filthy and stained, watermarks soaked through each one. They eventually opened on a page with a list, some of the things on the list crossed out. Before Violence could get a proper look at it, though, Kron picked up the pen that was nested within the folds of the pages and snapped it in half. The ink poured around his fingers and smeared across the page, destroying the contents. He then dropped the broken pen and closed the book, holding it in his ink-covered hand, leaving a handprint on the leather covering. Then, they changed where they were facing and walked off, picking up their pace until they were gone, leaving Violence confused and weirded out. What was that for? I love Kron adventures. Lore, I guess I named the file It's Bobby. Let me take this off.
Mary? No, you're... Mary? No, you're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife.
And I love my clown son. I'm telling you, I really love all of these animations that are coming this season. Oh. Okay, sorry. Twitch managed to crash. Oh no. We have another missing person. Oh no. It's Ambush. My gosh. Was last seen near the Keepers of Solace Recycling Center. Freya needs to do something. I feel really bad because I feel like she would have been doing something. I don't know. Reacting at least. But I've been like so busy. I haven't been able to stream. I haven't been able to get on Minecraft. I haven't been able to do anything. I hope Ambush stays missing. But yeah, so I have no canonical reason Freya has been just absent, it's just because I've been absent. I know there wasn't a meeting, but I already made the poster and didn't want to change it. Oh. I assume that there is a faction meeting, like, canonically every week. I just sometimes don't run it because, like, what are we going to talk about? Amelia! Amelia! While having some alone time visiting an old friend, Eleanor discovers the identity of the Eclipse shapeshifter. This is crazy. Pause everything. The cigarette. Minecraft damage sound kills me. Guess we found his body. No, don't play whatever this is. Guess we found his body? Whose? Those noises are shape-shifting. Oh, are you guys hearing the dinging from... Oh, damn it. Let me just turn this off. Let me just turn that off. Freya was in bed sulking. No, she already sulked. She's fine now from that. She's fine after the Okel situation. She just... Like, if I want to come up with, like, you know, canonically, what is she doing during this time? Is trying to find Eclipse still. Like, she does do, like, you know, sweeps of looking, and, like, you know, she goes through all of her, like, mail and, like, responds to letters to people and stuff, and, you know, organizes things. Currently, she's organizing the Eye Blossom Festival, making sure everything that's gonna go smoothly. Like, she does do stuff. She manages a bunch of branches of, you know, everything. But I have just been gone. Corpse simulation? Wait! Oh, that would make so much sense. Oh. Yeah, 'cause he... But who dug up his body, or did he just come out like a zombie? That's crazy. Huh. Huh. The way Mika is laughing makes me afraid. The thing in the pit! Oh! That's so true. Is it... Yeah. Because are they going into the pit? Is that why they're down there and then they come out this, like, completely different person? This is crazy. I've also missed a lot because I haven't been here for a lot of the, like, staff-led Lore Tuesdays. I think... I was there for the last one. I listened to all of that. But the one before that, and, like, there was one before that I also wasn't there for, so I'm missing some stuff, but the pieces are falling into place. Yeah, what's the end goal here? Just convert people to the red tears, bring people into the pit? I want to know what's happened with Strawberry and Blueberry. It was in the monastery, so the thing in the pit got the body and rose from the grave. Oh, so like... Oh. Hi, Bob. Oh, Bob, have you watched the, like... I mean, you were here last season, so obviously, like... You probably know that, but we have, like, the the season 5 lore and the season 6 lore channels with like everything. This is like everything that's like relevant to the main story in here if you want to get caught up. And then there's also like this video. I don't know if you've seen that. This is the deep dive of last season. This is also the official like Creation of Solace thing. I need to read that and post it on YouTube. Okay, wait, where was I? Oh my gosh, there's so much reading ahead. Okay. Day unknown. It's been a while. I think I broke my neck a few weeks ago when I was fixing my roof and fell off head first on the rocks. I might have a concussion, but I'm not sure. I probably should have gone to the hospital, but I don't want to waste their time and resources. I heard that Oko got hospitalized. I hope she's okay, even though I despise what she stands for. I might guess that, I guess that I might go to the hospital soon if I can. Good idea! Communication Magos lore. Communication link found. Linking. Magos Solvex. Hello, this is Magos Solvex requesting assistance with repairs to the ship named the Collector. This is Vertic Vander on board the wheel of the machine. The signal doesn't match the ship. Scanning. Action needed. Keep them talking. There seems to be some interference with the communication. Could you fix it on your end? I can assure you that my ship is running at its best. I believe the problem is with you. Scan complete. New file report. The wheel of the machine has been reported to be destroyed 3 years ago by the Knight's Hand. Signal came from the ship. Shadow's Hand, led by Schiller, the communication expert of the pirate faction Lord of Shadow, which is led by the Nitrous. A lot of names. Schiller, could you open your location information so we could get a read on where you are stranded? Signal termination. Scarabs, scramble our location now. I do not even want to risk them breaking through the first encryption. Scarabs! Ban that guy! Give, never take. Probably don't read this on stream, it's just a bunch of binary. We will take a look at it, though. Oh. Yep, can't read that. I'm guessing someone probably solved it at some point. Does anyone have quartz? You could check in the blocks section of the recycling center. You have to read it all before you make your official return. Let's go. I was merely another victim, choked by her cruel, careless, clawed hands. Divinity is not earned so easily, and I, their supposed blessing, I am sentient, wishing for nothing but revenge. Thank you, Truffle. A Lunaria. Oh, this is a character sheet. Yeah, we can read that now, it's fine. Name, Elenaria. Elenaria was a child of the stars before she could speak, for she arrived on a night when the sky pooled silver and a comet stitched a bright scar across the heavens. At birth her hair was the soft periwinkle of twilight, and her eyes the bright unblinking yellow of a lantern in fog. Even as a child, the townsfolk whispered that she did not belong to them. Clothes could not hide the way that she moved with a slow gravity, the way she tilted her head as if listening for a constellation's sigh. School benches and market stalls felt cramped around her. At dinners she sat politely but distant, as if her gaze were set beyond roofs and chimneys toward a place ordinary people could not see. She found comfort in the stars and in the moon, learning their names the way other children learn nursery rhymes. On rooftop tiles and in the long grasses outside town she would talk to the moon as if it were her only friend, telling it small truths and larger secrets until the ache of being different dulled. Sometimes the moon would seem to answer, a slick of silver on her skin, a sudden hush in the air, a dream that smelled of salt and iron. These nightly conversations taught her patience and courage. They gave her a quiet map to follow when the world below refused to hold her, and they left her certain of one thing, that home might be where the stars waited to recognize her name. On the day of the great anomaly, Elenaria was already planning her escape from her crooked hometown. When all of her town disappeared, she didn't know what to think. After a long while of crying and sobbing, she finally gathers her resolve to find other refugees. The only thing she hopes for is that they will accept her for her, and not make her be someone she is not. Nice. Clone. Let me eat my 5 toxic wastes in peace? Huh? Oh, I want spaghetti. I want angel hair pasta. Originally planned for there to be more build up to this and other side quests, but unfortunately life got very busy. So real. I feel ya. Zinnia was finally leaving the hospital. Well, she hadn't been discharged per se, but who was going to stop her? Besides, her head felt fine now. Her memories of the attack had come back to her, and the petals had ceased falling. She was fine. Okay, fine is pushing it slightly, but she was okay enough to walk out of that nauseating building. Seriously, she thought. I don't know how the staff spends so much time in there. Being back at her lab felt like a weight off of her shoulders. So much time spent away meant that she was extremely behind on her research. Some of the plants in there had started to wither already, neglected in her absence. The first thing she did was take her time to water what was still salvageable. Zinnia needed to keep as many alive as possible. She really didn't want to go foraging again anytime soon. The withering and already dead remaining plants were collected and placed on the center table, as she pondered over what to do with them. While alive, none of them served well as clone parts, so she doubted they would do much while dead. I guess it wouldn't hurt to check if Mom ever wrote about dead flowers, she thought out loud, turning towards the stack of files resting on top of a cabinet, before pausing. Her previous medical report sat among the pile, forgotten and untouched since being placed there indifferently. It was old news, dated back to the time her shoulder wound was having problems. Zinnia gently felt the back of her head, where her recent injury had healed up. There was nothing there, not anymore. That medical report was supposed to explain what had caused the strange phenomenon, but she hadn't read it, occupied by the affairs of Solace. Well, that and coming to her own assumption that she didn't leave her lab enough. Although if that were what caused the petals to fall, would it still have happened if she was in the hospital? She was there for over 2 weeks after all. Zinnia started to feel a bit nauseous as she reached out for the report. That couldn't be right. The words she was reading couldn't be right. Her name, her age, a description of her injury all faded into a blur as she zoned into one thing. Species unknown. Falsely identifies as human. There were only 2 species on Zinnia's planet that could look like her. But that couldn't be right. She was human. She had a childhood, a mother, things that the other species did not have. Desperate to prove the words wrong, she scrambled for her most precious valuable, a photo of her and her mother, taken when she was just a child, that she kept hidden away in her bedside table. Her hands shook as she held the photo. A small girl smiling back at her. Oh. Zinnia sunk to her knees, the picture falling from her hands as she realized something her brain had forced her to ignore. The little girl's eyes were not pink. They weren't even the yellow that appeared in Zinnia's eyes whenever she was hurt. They were brown. Zinnia's eyes were not brown. They had never been. Her mind searched for an explanation, a childhood memory, anything to prove her humanity. She only drew blanks, failing to recall any memories of her childhood that she was so certain she had. There were flashbacks of times she would look after the younger children, or when she would help arrange her mother's research papers. And all the memories she did have, Zinnia appeared to be the same age as she was now. There was only one way to explain that. Zinnia wasn't human. Zinnia was a clone. Oh my god. So wait, did her mom do that? Or... That's crazy. Wow. That is an insane development. All this research she's doing on cloning people, and she was the clone all along. God damn. Court work. From Lux. Lux entered the hospital with a full folder in their hands. They had already received permission from Magos to visit Okul, but it didn't stop the dread from inching over them. It was their duty as judge, they knew. Zell was busy preparing for the case, and Mira had already worked too much. Lux wouldn't ask this of them. The hospital was quieter than usual, late enough that most visitors had returned home. Less likely for conflicts to occur that way. Okul was awake when they arrived, eyes drawn thin as she stared at the door. "Are you finally letting me out of this revolting thing?" She gestured to the restraints. Lux wished it were professional to sigh. "Only the hospital staff can do that, and you're still deemed a threat." Honestly, it showed the integrity of the workers that they were even willing to treat her after everything she did. So you want me to wait here patiently until my death," she scoffed. "If you judges actually did your job, I wouldn't have to kill that pest. Better to ignore the bait. This isn't a death sentence, they said instead, pulling out a few papers. Of course, Okul couldn't hold them, but that didn't mean she couldn't read. You have all the same rights as every soul on Solace, including a fair trial. Right, a fair trial that just so happens to have a judge with a personal vendetta against me. Zell will be your judge, not Mira. They clenched the papers harder. We are not your enemies. If you had worked with us from the beginning, it would never have reached this point. The law is here to keep this planet stable. Okul glanced down at their hands and grinned. You're all the same. Do you like tailing after that false goddess and lying for a semblance of her grace? The restraints may have stopped her movement, but her anger continued to flare across her face. What an incompetent fool, even if that fool knew how to kill. Lux took a deep breath. Do you not understand that my species is biologically unable to lie? I swear the only thing that will happen before your court case is your removal to the Keepers of Solace prison after your wounds have finished healing. You will not be harmed. Okul remained unconvinced, her posture betraying annoyance before she repositioned herself. The false idol hasn't even gotten rid of Okana, she retorted. There's no safety with that monster around. It was a good thing they came in prepared. They pulled out a document near the back of the folder. That has an easy solution. After all, you're still a faction leader. I'll ask one of the staff members to come and help you fill out the statement. They placed the form down on the bedside table. We need more than a claim of danger, but we can follow through with evidence if you give us the information. Will you ignore this one too? Lux startled. Excuse me? Your false goddess already has my account. Do you expect me to do this meaningless work again? Why were they not surprised Freya had failed to give the judges any indication of her past meetings with Okul? Oops. My apologies then, they relented. As Freya is not a member of the judicial branch, I'm afraid you will have to report your experiences again through the correct channels. And maybe they could send a letter to Freya later about the importance of keeping the relevant branches up to date. Oopsie! Oopsie! Sorry! It took a moment for Okul to say anything before shrugging the best she could. Then I suppose you will just have to wait and see what I decide. Lux wanted to say more, but they knew Okul wouldn't accept any additional comment they could make. Instead, they placed the rest of the documents beside the first. If you have any questions in the future, I can return to answer them. You should trust I will not need it, was her only answer. Well, Lux did their best. With any luck, the next few weeks would go well, but for now they just wanted a nice long bath before heading to bed. Freya has an ability. She can go visit her memories, essentially. Like, step back in time and re-experience stuff, so she'll have to do that for the judges. Hee hee ha ha. The careful eye notices. Remember. Okay. It's under the court building. Hey. Oh, the jail? Yes. But yeah. We should have... I need to go through each of the branches and give, like, updates on everything. The following is a transcript from a public news broadcast on Earth. Date July 11th, 2151. Begin recording. We move on to a shocking discovery by NASA researchers. After numerous scouting vessels were sent in response to the failed Orion test flight, it was discovered that the star Alpha Orionis, commonly known as Betelgeuse, oh my god, has gone supernova. Can't read. This gives us a hint towards the fate of pilot Cameron E. Kovacs, who has been missing since the incident and is now presumed dead. Here is a statement from NASA engineer Justin Keener. Keener? A long-past relative of Eleanor, perhaps. Cam was one of the leading researchers for the Orion project. He designed the vessel and assisted in the creation of its engine, as well as construction of the vessel itself. I'm not sure how we're going to move forward without him. He had such a flexible and creative mind. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of this brave soul. May he rest in peace. As for the supernova itself, it won't be observable on Earth for another 600 years, but scientists are attempting to get as close as they can in order to get a visual and obtain valuable data. This is the first time a supernova has happened while humanity has the means to survey it. I'm sure the scientific community will have their hands full for quite some time after this. End recording. Massive Cam lore. Interesting. The unfinished storage room in the KOSSR has now been turned into a mail room. Oh, hell yeah. I gotta turn the rewards back on? Oh, yeah, I do. You're right. I will do that before the next stream, because I might have more, like, a better setup by then. I might not. We'll see. The tower. It was about 8 at night when Belios reached the moon-touched kingdom. He had journeyed far for many days. When he arrived, he noticed the church, the one he walked at that night with Okul. He wanted to explore the area, as this was what he thought was a keeper of Solace base, but instead he focused on the reason he was there, to find the hourglass. I need to find a place to hide, one where I won't get caught or heard, he thought as he looked around, finding that tower the creature spoke of, with a spike sticking out the back and a wall missing from the back. He noticed an old lady walking away from the church heading toward the tower, but she turned to check on something, so Belios made his move. Belios ran into the tower and shot up the stairs. He reached the second floor and noticed there were no stairs. What the hell? It's a 3-story building, Belios said before he noticed the vines leading up, which he quickly climbed up. Something had struck him mentally the moment he got onto the 3rd floor, a memory. Nikolai spoke. My little raccoon, I see you took the mask into my room. I never thought it'd be used again. Nikolai pulled out the fox mask and held it to Belios. I honestly should have called you my little fox, but raccoon suits you. It was a memory from a place he didn't know. When this had happened, he hadn't spoken to Nikolai in like 8 years. He shook his head and began looking around. He noticed stairs leading outside up into a room held up by spikes. He ran up and hid in the corner of the room. He waited until the old lady had made it to bed and the lights went out before he finally relaxed. I need to sleep to find this hourglass. Guess I need to get comfortable. Belios thought to himself, shifting to get comfortable. He then slowly went to sleep, exhaustion from the multi-day trip finally hitting him, and he was out like a light. In the dream. Belios opened his eyes to see that creature, though it looked different. Its body was more human, though its face was still that wolf skull with horns. The horns had shrunk some to fit his form of it. So where is this hourglass you said you'd give me in my dreams? Belios spoke, looking up at the creature. You must find it yourself. Think of the gap before you awoke on Solace. How did you go from being on Finda all the way across the universe? The creature spoke, looked off to the blackness of the dream void, and raised his hand as the void turned into the bog. Just remember, Belios, that all you need to do. Belios watched as the dream shifted into the bog, the place he felt that pull. Then another memory sent pain through his head. It was of him writing in his journal a promise of Kathy of making that faction. The creature watched him as he fell to his knees, the memories from the bog seeping into his mind. You're almost through, just a little longer and you'll find the hourglass, the creature spoke. Belios took a deep breath to try and calm himself down. The memories were of him, of what he used to look like, still wearing that old royal outfit, as well as that fox mask. It showed him building a cabin on the water, making a little relaxing area as well as making a farm. Then one day he just packed his stuff and left. Stand up, we're not done, the creature spoke as he began to walk away. The scene of the bog changed into the shuttle under Kindlegrim Belios had found. Belios stood and followed the creature. He didn't show what was happening, but he knew he had no control. It wasn't long before more memories shot through him. One of finding the shuttle when mining, throwing out skeletons to make room for Belios, mining out a little farm in the walls to make some sort of food. Then the scene changed to the tower before it had spikes. Please, let me rest a bit before you continue. This is really taking a toll, Belios spoke, trying to just stop whatever was happening. He didn't understand these memories. They were of him, but why doesn't he know all of this? The creature looked off into the distance before looking back at Belios. We must continue. It won't be long until the sun comes up. We need you to find the hourglass. How do I find the hourglass? We have done nothing but look at false memories about stupid bogs and shuttles. Belios looked up at the creature. The creature, however, didn't listen to him, instead in its own mind. I found it in a dream, but only because Romis helped. The creature looked at Belios. Dream of Nikolai and what he said after the dream. You need to remember, Belios. Why Nikolai? Why does he have to do anything? Belios spoke, a little irritated that the creature brought up Nikolai. Just do it, the creature snapped back at Belios. Jesus fuck, fine, Belios yelled back, before turning around and began thinking of Nikolai. Then another memory appears, played out not just in Belios' memory, but throughout the dream void. They were in the meeting hall in between the kingdoms, but it was different. Belios' parents weren't there, but Nikolai and Levia were. Belios knew it was coming and went to go to Nikolai, but the scene changed. But this time everything was black, and only a pedestal with an hourglass onto was there. Belios walked towards it and picked it up, and Nikolai's voice spoke from the hourglass. My little raccoon, these nights under the willow trees, watching the moon rise and fall, makes me wish that it wasn't your fault. Why did this happen? Did he know? How would he know? Belios said as he began to walk towards the hourglass. "In death we learn our true reason for dying. He knew for 7 years, and Romus used it against us in his dream, making us believe Nikolai thought we could do more. But he knew. Now grab the hourglass," the creature spoke calmly. Belios nodded, stepping close to the hourglass before the scene changed. The void turned white, and the hourglass appeared in his hands. But this time, instead of 2 hands reaching for each other, it was Belios's reaching for a poison vial. A new voice spoke. It was of Kathy. "You could have told me you were finding your way back. Take care, my little rascal. I'll see you when you're back." It came from everywhere, but Kathy herself wasn't there. Belios took some time just looking at the hourglass before more memories flooded in. But instead of treating them as hostiles and making them painful, he just watched. Each memory from this tower, the whole, making the faction, making friends, the hospital visits, but the memories became distorted after the fight with Okul. "There's more. No, there's more. Why aren't they showing?" Belios spoke, looking at the creature. "Because you need to head to the place those memories are ruined at. You need to go to the ballroom. You'll find everything there," the creature spoke before vanishing. Belios awoke with the hourglass in his hands. He looked around before vanishing, but too bad he missed breakfast. Kathy was on her way up with food. She saw him vanish before sighing. "Always on the run. Might need to get a hold on that before something bad happens." Oh, he's gonna go and find out he's supposed to be dead. That's not good. The Shining. Again with this hospital. He stared up at it with a flicker of annoyance, arms crossed firmly across his stomach. The wind passed through him and carried brown leaves with it, some landing among the closed eye blossoms that lined the path. It was coming close to the end of the autumn season. He'd been outside this gods-be-damned building more times over these past 40-something days than he had been in Kindlegrim. His knowledge of pathways was still a mess. Yes, someone had returned to him, but the ones he actually needed... He sighed and moved forward, ducking his head down slightly as he phased through the door. Once inside the pale walls of the hospital, his gaze was drawn to the missing posters up on the glass of the front desk window. Ambush, Seraphim, Zilangsu, Frog, Light. His non-existent stomach sank. He had heard that Frog had returned, but the others he wasn't certain. He shook his head, pushing the tar back into the void of his eye, feeling something twitching and moving within. "Focus, Croy." He followed the sound of complaining that echoed down the hall, turning the corner just as Magos did the same, walking right through him. It made the ghost tense and shiver. He hated when that happened. He pushed forward, his deer ears pinning back yet another furious yell, and a few profanities filled the air. At least it confirmed that the general was awake from her coma. The voice of Okul finally quieted as Croy approached the room, gazing at her through the glass on either side of the door. She was still strapped down to the bed, although she could at least sit up a tiny bit. He noticed that she was speaking, and at first he thought that maybe she was grumbling to herself or even praying to Divinitas. But he noticed her horns quivering whenever she stopped talking, as if someone was responding to her before she continued the conversation. Croy glanced around the hospital room through the glass, then the open area around himself. No one was there. Okana wasn't here. It lifted some of the weight of worry from Croy's mind, but confusion settled in its place. Maybe she was talking to herself. Croy waited another moment, trying to gauge if it was time to go in. He adjusted himself a bit, trying to look less creepy, if that was even possible. He figured it'd be a bit distressing if a patient was to see him, of all people. But then again, this was Okul. Finally, he phased through the glass and gently knocked on the wall to gain Okul's attention, but also to warn her so he doesn't catch her off guard. Croy focused. Memories, monologues, a child's voice? Croy could feel the glare from Okul's non-existent eyes before he could even open his own, but he also felt someone else looking at him now. "Oh, it's you." Her tone was bitter. Let me read that better. "Oh, it's you." Her tone was bitter as ever. It was pretty much exactly what Croy had expected, and it was something he could partially forgive, given her current situation. "You haven't been around. What do you want?" "I was never gone. People just could not see me." It was a partial lie, but he had a hunch Okul wouldn't care either way. The ghost leaned against the wall, clearing his throat quietly. He found his gaze instinctively flicking towards Okul's arm, noticing the edge of the amethyst he left during his last visit poking out ever so slightly. He assumed Okul just hadn't noticed it yet. "I'm here to check in, to make sure everything is all right." "Oh yeah, everything's great, just amazing." Croy rubbed his temple softly at the sarcasm from the warden. Although it was fair, his choice of wording wasn't the best. You know well of what I meant, General Ogle, but I apologize for my wording of it. He watched Ogle shift in her bed in restraints, trying to sit up tall, to live up to her role as general, even though hospitalized. However, her spine was forced to curve, making her slouch slightly. The sight made Croy's ears droop a smidgen, before perking up again once Ogle responded. I don't need pity from a coward, a dead one at that. Again with the dead thing. It wasn't Croy's fault. He didn't intend to become a ghost. But Ogle continued, sounding a little smug this time. Are you expecting thanks? For us to be on good terms? After you took credit for my plan that you and the other Salatians fucked up and then ran away? Were you expecting people to care and look for you? I came here to make sure Okana was not here and trying something while you were recovering. Croy's tone was firmer than he had intended, what Ogle had assumed getting on the short nerves he had left. The room went quiet for a moment, but it was soon interrupted by Croy taking a long breath through his nose, clasping his hands together. I visited you while you were comatose, and when I left, I met him outside and we spoke. He went in and saw you after. He's going to pull something and I know it, so God's forgive me if I want to make sure nothing bad happens, General. Once again the room fell silent, and that's when Croy finally noticed the child sitting at the end of Ogle's bed, their legs swinging as they dangled off the ledge, their hands clasped together and twiddling their thumbs. Their skin was a dark greeny blue, a hospital gown hanging from their fairly skinny frame, the end almost reaching their ankles. Their hair was fluffy, bunching up on their shoulders in a mullet. Their eyes were the most curious thing about them. It was as if they were open vertical tears in their face, revealing the bright white pupils that were hidden beneath the skin. They were staring with a blank expression of confusion yet fascination, their pupils flickering between Ogle and Croy. It took a second for Croy to process the situation, but once they did, he had to stop his shoulders from sagging obviously. He cleared his throat once again, bowing his head slightly. My apologies. I did not mean to lose my temper. It has been an eventful couple of weeks for the both of us. Ogle? Is that the Casimir ghost you were talking about? The obnoxiously loud whisper by the child made Croy almost laugh, his head lifting up and tilting curiously as he watched as Ogle's attention changed over to the child. No, that isn't Casimir. I haven't told you about this one yet. That is Croy. Croy? Croy. Oh, how did he die? Did the lizard get him too? Croy finally let himself laugh a bit, which drew both attentions back to him. He took a small step closer before crouching down near the child, his arms crossing over the top of his knees, or rather what remained of his legs that didn't dissipate into red and black distortion and shadow. No, I passed a long while ago. I was unwell. He decided that was the best way to say what had happened to him, especially here. The child seemed to pause for a second before turning their head back to Ogle, seemingly comfortable in speaking to her, which Croy understood. How did you meet Croy? Croy snickered a little again, rising up from his crouched position, turning to look to Ogle, curious about what she would say. He could feel that she wasn't at all that pleased talking about this, a sneer showing off her teeth and making her tusks more prominent. But she answered in a grumble, leaning back against the thin pillows with a huff. He befriended one of the members of my faction, and even took her away from her purpose in the faction to live with him and another. Convinced her that it was wrong. Salatians. There it is, the term of identity muttered like an insult. Croy hummed softly in acknowledgement, deciding against correcting her, since he knew it would do nothing. He never considered himself a Salatian, though. He lived here, yes, but he wasn't from the planet, and he didn't— none of us are from the planet. And he didn't affiliate himself with the mass amount of people who use the title, only a select few. Even so, he's been weighing the thought of leaving the planet recently. That is enough about me, I believe. He decided to change the subject. The last thing he needed was an argument that draws unwanted attention. Magos already creeps Croy out a bit. A confrontation with him after visiting Ogle unauthorized isn't particularly something the ghost would be interested in. Ugh. My throat is killing me. I'm not used to talking this much anymore. Croy turned his head towards the child, who was staring up at him, still with fascination. It was almost as if there were so many thoughts going around in their head, or maybe none at all, and they were barely paying attention. Do you have a name? Ogle called me Vacus, but also Ve for brevity's sake. The child, Ve, seemed particularly excited about telling someone their name, bouncing on the mattress and swinging their legs more rapidly. It's brevity's sake, Ve, brevity. Even as Ogle corrected them in a tired, irritated sigh, Ve still beamed brightly up at Croy, not a care in the world. Croy offered a small smile, although he knew it wouldn't come through. It is lovely to meet you, Vey. I must go now, however. Mind Okel while she's recovering, please. Vey nodded vigorously, while Okel scoffed, grumbling under her breath like a moody teenager. Croy then turned his attention to the warden, while reaching into the void of his chest, retrieving a few small shards of amethyst. And, Okel, I know you do not like me, and I am not trying to change that. The ghost stepped forward, placing the shards on the side table, the crystals being visible to Okel, but hidden enough for no one else to notice immediately. His voice was a murmur, firm, yet not unkind. But if you need help with anything related to Okena, I am not far. And with that, without waiting for response, he retracted himself from Okel's senses, phasing through the hospital wall and returning to the path, taking a breath. That was when he noticed the familiar figure of Kron sprinting down from the fields. He stepped out, calling their name, noticing that they had his shield. His arms were outstretched, ready for them to see him. Kron ran right through him, not noticing at all. The ghost hated when that happened. Oh, I want them to be reunited already. Ah. Poor Kron. And poor Croy. They're just both so sad. Affidavit of Comet. Sworn statement. My legal name is Comet Ari Croyanri. It's like Croy. And I acknowledge I am age faction librarians. Being duly sworn, hereby swear under oath that Violence the Clown stalked me and gave my personal schedule and location to Eclipse so that she could kill me. This resulted in my injury. He visited me while I was recovering in the hospital to taunt and brag about it. Under penalty of perjury, I hereby declare and affirm that the statement mentioned above is, to the best of my knowledge, true and correct. Notary Acknowledgement. Keepers of Solace Judicial Branch. On this 28th of October in the year 2497, before me, Lux Solaris, personally appeared Comet Ari Croyanri. My God, I can't pronounce that. Who proved on the basis of satisfactory evidence to be the person whose name is subscribed to this document, and acknowledged they executed the same. Witness my hand and official seal. This is so professional. I love my judicial branch. Y'all should be actual lawyers. Shut up, Mika. Oh, I didn't have the music on this entire time. I'm so sorry. Alright, I saw Eleanor on the front page of that. We're gonna get some good lore. Here we go. Oh! Boss music? Oh! Featuring Blueberry. Celeste. Mira. Ooh, Marcello. Why did he have the red tears? Eleanor. Oh, this is so cool. Hello? Oh, this is so cool. And Carpsamir with Cam. Upside down. Sunny. Versus Jasmine's Parasites. For the sake of Solace's future. This is so cool! Oh my God, this is weak! This is so weak! The entity will save us all. This is so October 30th, I'm so excited! Oh my God, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm putting, that's so cool. We need to watch that again. I need Virgil to see this. I'm gonna show this to him later. That's gonna be Mira. The Eve of the Eye Blossom Festival. That's Eleanor. Marcello. Strawberry and Celeste. This is so neat. Yeah. Oh, it's so I don't. Why does he have the red tears? I'm so scared. Eleanor's so badass. Willow scares me to death. Cam being upset is killing me. 12 seasons immediately. I'm sending this to Virgil. You gotta watch this. It's peak. Oh, that was so peak. Oh my god, okay. Back to what we were doing. Actually, I need to super react fire emoji with this. This one of do I pin that? I might pin it. I'll pin it until the actual one comes out. Arrest warrant of violence. Here we go. I'm turning the music back on so you guys don't have to just hear me talking with nothing else. It's peak. All the hard work is paying off. I knew it. I knew the parasites would be used in a negative way. Marcelo had the tears from getting close to the pit. Oh, is that what happens when you get close to the pit? I wonder. It probably wouldn't affect Freya. Where is Freya during all this? She's just like, Marcelo's like, Marcelo and Eleanor are like, we're gonna go fight things. And Freya's like, alright, have fun, bye, I'll make cookies. But that looks so cool. I love, okay. Arrest warrant. This warrant has been issued by a competent judicial authority. I request that the person mentioned below be arrested and surrendered by their faction leader for the purposes of conducting a criminal prosecution or executing a custodial sentence or detention order. Wow. She was too OP. That's fair. She's probably like, I'm not messing with that. I don't like, because her whole thing is she doesn't like messing with other factions, you know, getting in the way of their own stuff. So she probably wouldn't be involved. Marcelo doesn't give a shit. He's like, people have been going missing. I'm taking action. Same with Eleanor. Where Freya's just like, well, what if, you know, this is just like, what if it could be not their fault, you know, blah, 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 whatever. Freya's a lamp. Alright, arrest warrant. Let's get them. New project. Interrogation. First time properly voice acting and editing audio. Alright, let's open this up. Oh my gosh, it's like the Waters things. Oh.
Alright. This thing finally got to work. Anyways, we're now on record. State your name and your position.
General Okel Skullcath of the House of Ocular Enlightenment and rightful Empress of Solace.
Watch your words. Anyways, we have enough witnesses to condemn you, Warden.
Your witnesses will do no such thing. I will walk out of this hospital a free general, and not even Freya will stop me.
Hobo. Feed your delusions all you want. I know you have someone watching over me. Now, I could pardon your lackey, but I need the name.
Names are unnecessary, and I'd be condemned by my Divine One if I were to sell out someone who so willingly obeys my every word.
So they are still valuable to you. Moving on. State how you acquired all your armament for your little cult.
Gaining arms was not difficult on this planet. Next to every little group and organization formed here has enough to arm a small battalion at the very least. All of ours were acquired before we put ourselves on the map.
How long have you been serving your father?
I am not currently serving that man, and he certainly is not my father. But if you must know, I was under his command for approximately 20 years.
He is outside, you know. Want me to invite him in so you don't throw another tantrum?
Weak bluff on your part, Judge. I've already been informed by the false idol that Okana's entrance into this hospital is barred.
And I can remove his ban with a wave.
My gosh, Mira!
Are you so absolute in your hate for me that you'd undo Freya's command out of absolute spite? Forgive me if I don't believe you, Judge.
Are you willing to risk him getting to you before anyone here comes to save you? We both know Freya wouldn't help, even if you were to tell her right now.
Oh my gosh, Mira!
My cooperation for the time being. Continue, Judge.
Perfect. Why do you use such a baseless argument to execute Velios? Was it only to prove a point, or to show off?
He was deserving of it. He was agitated regarding the results of the attempted assassination of Eclipse and needed someone to take his anger out on. He chose me. He almost got Sunny. He didn't have the guts to back up his actions.
My Glacier.
So you plead?
I plead not guilty. I broke no laws. You have no laws.
Of course you think so. Now, where is Sunny?
Sunny is safe, away from the Keepers. And she's supervised by whom you may refer to as a trusted adult, at least in her eyes.
Are you sure? We both wouldn't want Sunny to be harmed. Better tell me where she is.
Sunny was taken to an island, one only known to a few select members of the house, and the one Casimir. Sunny trusts him, so I'm fine leaving her under his supervision, and only his.
Casimir? He is dead.
So are quite a lot of Solations. Doesn't stop them either.
Your recruitment has been particular. Multiple of your ex-members were children. Isn't that ironic? There must be a reason Okana isn't on your side. Are you just going to repeat this cycle? Vocal.
The age of those Divinitas brings to us is not of concern. No one is too young or too old to find meaning within the house.
Of course. Your senseless reasoning has a senseless god.
Senseless is to judge the house by your own standards. We are not you. Ethnocentrism such as that has only ever led to ruin.
Says you. You're stuck on believing that you're the behind ride. Isn't just a mistake. Even your father has told us that you're crazy.
Okana lies.
I feel like this
He's
is,
nothing but a deceiver. Once I'm out of the picture, he won't hesitate to subjugate this planet to his so-called divine will.
This doesn't feel like a thing a judge
Don't
should be
worry.
doing.
He will be in a trial soon enough. You both will meet your creator together.
As I stated before, you'll not have me for the trial.
Why would
and
Okana
something
be in a
tells me You
trial?
won't have him either. The only way Okana is falling is by my own hand.
The people of this planet may go against it, but I will make sure your ideology lies with your little psychotic self.
You know nothing of Third Sight in the House of Ocular Enlightenment. You think it is the religion of warmongers when in reality it is the life of peacemakers. Let it be known, Judge, that before my time is up, I will make peace of Solace's chaos.
Oh, you will. By setting an example on the worst this universe can offer.
I am the best this universe has offered you failing people.
This is going in circles. I got your statements. I'll see you during your execution, Warden.
No, she's still here. Pipe down, Faye.
Pipe down, Vay. Yeah, I feel like this is really, like, yeah, it might be a little corrupt. I need Frey to have a little talk with Mira and be like, look, you can't just go and like intimidate people before they're on trial, or you know, at all. This is a. I think Mira needs a vacation. Warning: analog horror.
You don't sound Russian?
How could I sound anything, silly? I'm plastic. I don't even have a voice box. I had to borrow this one. Don't turn on the light.
Huh? We get such ominous things from Featherlore. I miss when we could commit crime. Now I actually have to do my paperwork. Interesting. Interesting. Do we have any lore sheets from the last few days? That, I think... Yeah, that was fixed from before, so we already read that. Servo Animos. Servo comes from the Bloodstag cult, a small cult based in the Rim. Before the Great Anomaly, the cult gained a lot of popularity, but has since been left in shreds. The remaining members are incredibly aligned with their religion, which worships the blood moon. You would love the Monastery of Red Tears, I guess, and its subsequent deity. Well, there's no moon on Solace, so good luck with that, I guess. They believe that once every blood moon, a single person is chosen to become pure. They believe only in the sacrifice of animals, as they see humans as truly pure beings. Servos, having a higher rank in the cult, doesn't agree that humans are the true pure beings. He has searched for a place to find and conduct his true ritual to appease his god, Crer Deusum, the god of blood and beasts, and sees Solace as the perfect place to find such a being. He's come searching for both for a place of absolute solidary worship, as well as his pure being. Likes the moon. There is no moon on Solace, so good luck with that. Moon is not canon. There is no moon. Well, Freya, like, I was thinking about it. Freya never made a moon. I never, like, said that she made a moon. Solace is just, like, one planet spinning around the sun. Maybe she'll make a moon in the future. Maybe lore. But yeah. I think I talked about it a little bit, like, but I don't think I revealed, anyway. Freya, do you want to do the Freya crash on the ballroom with her finding out Belios is alive again? Yes. I would love that. Is it going to be at the same time that he realizes? Oh, that'd be so good. Oh, that'd be so good. I'm free all the time now. Now that I'm here, so just ping me. Literally, anyone ping me. I'll make stuff with you. Audio, writing, I don't care. I'll do it. They showed me a video of it when I was helping with their lore sheet. Who stole the moon? Yes, we can. Anyone, literally, just like DM me, ping me, make a lorem post, anything. I'll, like, let's do it. Agnes Albin. I think I'm probably covering some of this, I apologize. From a rural town that she rarely ever left on Earth. Technically, I need to write a wiki page on the status of Earth. Earth doesn't really have any rural towns anymore, as far as I know. I'll talk to Virgil, but it's like in the Soul Pact, you know, like like Earth is very like anyone who lives there is like it's like living in where's a place on Earth that's like it's like living in like New York, or like maybe that's not even a good enough example. What's like the most like populated and like, you know, rich place to live in? Maybe New York is a good example. Virgil, I summon the Explain. Dubai, maybe? But anyway, Earth is very, you know, everyone lives there. It's just like all public transportation. Everyone, you know, has money and is fed and, you know, has housing and everything. Like, you can be from Earth, but it's very different from, like, today Earth. Because the way that, like, I'll have Virgil write a history on, like, you know, or like, just, like, the status of Earth currently in Solace timeline and everything. Yeah, Tokyo, maybe. That might be a good one. But yeah. but that's just a technicality. We just try to be picky about like people coming from Earth because it can be a little bit like, you think of it as present day when it's really like 450 years in the future, almost 500 years in the future. So it's very different. Anyway, from a rural town that she rarely ever left on Earth, Agnes spent most of her time helping out her parents on the family farm and working in the shop in town. Once the great anomaly happened, her town vanished, leaving her alone, which is what led to her coming to Solace, being exposed to all new walks of life. Agnes has begun to learn that there is so much more, both good and bad, to living in general. Can I have one of the lore helpers? Well, let me make the page first, and then I'll have one of the lore helpers talk to Agnes about just making sure that they understand how Earth is. Okay. Coming up, let me look at the events up here. We have some events coming up. So, Friday, I will probably stream. I don't see any reason not to. Unless I'm doing something. Is there something? Oh yeah, there's Lore Friday, and then also Friday is the Eye Blossom Festival. It's what, the time that Lore Tuesday used to start, or maybe an hour earlier, something like that. Yeah, at the time Lore Tuesday used to start, I think. But that is on Friday when we're going to have the Eye Blossom Festival. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna have games and prizes and lots of lore opportunities and all of that stuff. Very cool. Woo woo. And then ignore that stuff. That's for staff. Obviously faction meeting Lore Tuesday. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Good timing that my Halloween got canceled. Aw. I want to show up to the Eye Blossom Festival for Lore, but won't be able to make it IRL since I go trick-or-treating. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to go trick-or-treating, but for those who don't, it's a fun thing to do. I know that, like, I stopped going trick-or-treating when I was, like, 12. My parents said I was too old at that point, so for people 13 and up who are in this server, and you don't have anything to do, and everyone should be 13 and up in this server. Want to introduce your character? Great opportunity to do it. Very true, very true. Working that night? You're always working. Ah. I'm handing out toys for Halloween so I can go, aw, that's cute. When Virgil and I live in a place that isn't a basement, where we plan on being like big Halloween people. I want to give out full-size candy bars. I want to have huge decorations everywhere. We both want to be known as like the cool place that kids can, hang out, and, if anything ever goes wrong, they can trust us, to do whatever. We'll have like cool, like, I don't know, what do kids like? Slip and slide, freaking slide. Why do I just keep thinking of slides? What, playground type stuff? I don't know, swing set? In the backyard, kids can just play. Whatever. The annual Halloween party thing, I don't know if you're talking about yours, the one that was in the events thing, that's for staff. I run an annual Halloween party in VR chat for my friends, and this year we're doing it with staff as well. Glow sticks and balls with water and an eyeball in the middle. When you throw them, they light up. That's cool. Are you gonna wear your Marcello costume to work for Halloween? That would be, I don't know if I could give you like a prize or something. Do you want a subscription? Or like a Twitch sub? I'll give you a Twitch sub if you do that. That'd be very cool. I didn't bring any of my I didn't bring my Freya wig or any of my stuff for dressing up as Freya, so I need to buy it all again at some point. I'm going as Spider-Man. Oh! You did a video and put in self-promo? Let's go. That's cool. What would I go as? Oh yeah, I told Virgil for the Halloween party, like VR chat thing, we should go as the Coldplay cheating couple. That'd be kind of niche, but maybe the meme's too old now. But I thought it'd be kind of funny. Yes, do it. I don't know what else it could be. But anyway. 1 year, let's see. Year 1, we were Wally and Eve. Next year, I know last year we were Joel and Tess for The Last of Us. Shoot, I don't remember what we were before that. Half think about making a poorly made Marcello costume completely out of cardboard. Anyone who dresses up as Marcello or Freya for Halloween, I will give you a Twitch sub. Jinx and Echo, oh, that would be really cute. Should I make a whole a channel, temporary channel for just like showing off, or maybe just art? Just post in art or general or something if you want to show off your Halloween costumes. My actual Halloween costume is listed at Rockstar version from Interview with a Vampire, but I can't wear that to work for obvious reasons. I don't know who that is, so I wouldn't be able to say, but I assume it's something you can't wear to work. Do you have to go out trick-or-treating with it on? No, I guess not. Alright, I'm gonna end it here and go watch Age of Ultron for the 50th time. Well, not 50th, probably my 6th time watching it. With Virgil. What if I dress up my dog as Freya? That would be impressive. Good luck getting a wig on a dog. No staff intros? Oh yeah, we could do staff intros if you want to. I can record that. Yeah, jump on the server. Okay, okay. I'll see you all on Friday. Bye-bye.